ask him. So anyways, I asked him, and that was probably one of our bigger struggles in the beginning, was just trying to put my mind around that.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
So what happened when you asked him about it?
He told me, and I just thought it was like cartoons and like Roger Rabbit. Like I really was like, I was like so clueless still. Like it's cartoons and Roger Rabbit, and I thought, oh, good thing we're married. Now he doesn't have to deal with that. Like he actually has, it's a good thing he's married, and he doesn't have to deal with that anymore. And I just imagined it would go away in my head. So yeah.
It's awkward. Just kidding. No.
Cool.
No, I agree. Yeah. So I think that there was a challenge in that area. I didn't know how much it affected her until later on in our marriage. Like I told her, and I told her, it's not like I, back then wake up thinking of looking at porn but even after we were married, like for some reason I wasn't free of it. Like there would be times I would struggle with it again. It's not like all the time, but so I think whenever I would confess to her, it would hurt her, and I think in hindsight, I'm stuttering because I'm trying to put my thoughts together.
It's okay.
I think there's things you don't realize affect the person, and you only realize it affects them after you see the damage. But so I asked myself, right, what would I have done differently? Obviously, I would tell my younger self, don't give in to porn because that will affect your marriage. But even after I was married, I could have handled it differently. Maybe had better discipline. That was definitely one area that affected our marriage. I think the other one was just some of my hobbies. Like I like gaming. I've always enjoyed video games. For some reason, she doesn't like it. So
I would actually ask if people would, like I was a kindergarten teacher before, and if people would try to set me up with their brother or their uncle or whoever, I would ask the two questions. I would say, does he know and love the Lord, like Jesus? And if they said yes to that question, I would then answer the next question. If they said no, I wouldn't even entertain it. I would say, no, thank you. But if they said yes to the Jesus question, then I would ask the second question, which was, does he play, I didn't really know computer games even existed. I said, does he play video games? And then if they said yes, he does, I would say, I really would say no to meeting the guy.
Yeah.
I didn't want to meet him because I didn't want to date someone. I had dated a few people who had played computer games before, and I didn't like it how I would go over and visit them, and they would just be playing. I'm like, this is crazy. So yeah.
But you didn't know that he was into gaming with you?
I didn't know. I didn't know to ask him.
So I wasn't. When we met, I had stopped playing.
Mm-hmm.
So I wasn't always a gamer. There were times I wouldn't game at all. Again, the addictive personality, right? So addicted to porn, addicted to video gaming, addicted to whatever. So when we got married, I wasn't gaming. But later on, I started gaming again. And that hurt her a lot. So that probably hurt her more than porn at first.
Probably, yeah.
She was more angry about video games. Because she would see it. She would see me playing, and she wants me to stop. But I would like to stop after I finish playing. So it got into a lot of heated arguments. We used to do a marriage skit on gaming. And, in marriage retreats.
It was really funny.
We would really fight. I mean, she would be shouting at me, angry about the games, and I would be defending myself.
Not shouting, like super shouting. No, just really forcefully talking to you, I think.
She would be super forcefully talking to me. Feels like shouting. But so we had that challenge. And that was a big one. So that was all, muddled together. So I would struggle with my appetites, and she would not like it. But her issue is...
I'm not perfect, obviously, yes.
Maybe her anger. So it's a kind of a combustible situation, right? Because I make her angry. So then when she gets angry, I want to withdraw. I don't want to engage. Or I do, but I don't know. In our family, we always learned that you don't end the night without saying sorry.
Yes,
So
And
I would
talking
I would
through.
always try to talk through it.
Hmm.
So somehow, like,
And I was raised kind of differently.
Yeah.
Don't really just.
she learned
Talk
how
about
to talk through things so much, and then one day it reversed.
They don't talk anymore.
I don't want to talk anymore, and she just wants to. So what happened? So I don't know. We had that.
So for couples who struggle with the same kind of issues, what have you learned? How do you resolve these issues as a married couple?
Well, I think I prayed for you for a while on it. I think that I kind of just said, well, that's his thing. If he wants to waste his life, he can waste his life. I even told his brother, like, it's a waste of time. If he wants to waste his life, that's his choice, you know.
So there's two different issues. There's two different addictions. I think the solutions are a little different, but underneath both of them is, I think, understanding why. Why does whoever it is? So in my case, why did I give into porn or gaming? What was the root of that? And the answer for me, the one word answer is Jesus. But how does Jesus deliver the freedom? It's actually a little more complicated. It's not as you say one prayer and you're done. There's so much involved in dealing with our issues, and I'm sure you've seen that in many of the people you've talked to. So, and for her, the answer is also Jesus, but it's different. It's how do you deal with anger? How do you deal with anger if your husband isn't changing the way you want? Can you? And is anger, like for me, my experience, if I may speak, is she uses her anger to try to change me. So she wants to force the change with anger. It doesn't also work, right? Then I just hide. I'll just game when she's not watching. One point I would game under the covers. She's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Nothing."
I remember that now. Yeah.
I'm hiding, right? I don't want her to see
Yeah.
me gaming.
It's so funny.
Yeah. Or I was looking at porn. She's like, "What are you looking at?" I'm like, "Nothing," right? So I'll let her explain maybe how to deal with anger. But for me, how do I deal with addictions? And the idea that I've come to realize is this. An addiction has many parts. One of it is the spiritual component. The other is the emotional and physiological attachment. So you have to deal with them both. So why does a person like what they do? But why do they get stuck doing things? Usually it's because there's a deficit they're trying to fix. There's something empty or something I'm trying to do. Or I actually have an addiction that is like, it's like a drug addiction, for example. How do you get the person off drugs? You have to teach them to find, okay, I will get this to set you free.
Or do you want this one?
What is this?
Thank you.
There, look at that.
Yummy. It's good.
Spicy stuff. Spicy looks good for her.
I'm so excited. Like this.
Yeah, so I counseled someone recently who's the husband told me his wife gets mad at him also for gaming. And I asked him three questions, but one of the questions I asked is this: why do you game? And he said it's fun. And I said, so I have now been free of gaming for a while. And I'll admit, when you're in the middle of the addiction phase, it's very hard to get out. So you actually need to find a way to detox.
Yeah.